Hey Neil, what are you up to?
Hey Leanne, how you doing? I'm just reading the latest Anglican Journal, and I think it's got to be the most talked about Anglican Journal ever. Everyone's talking about it. There's a lot of really rich material, a lot of thinking going on, and of course it's got this famous headline, Gone by 2040. And this is what's got us all talking, these statistics that have come out regarding the future of the Anglican Church in Canada, suggesting that by 2040 the last Anglican will turn out the lights.
Are you worried?
No way. I don't think so, because I think the church has been here a long time, and the church has had ebbs and flows in the past, and the church survives by interpreting God's call for us now. And I think this really presents for us a moment where we need to stop and say, okay, what is God calling us to do now? A lot of us grew up in the church, and in a time when the church was still the dominant force in culture, and we had a parish system where there were parishes all over the country, everywhere. When I was growing up, we walked to our local church. It was always there, and there were the people there to support that whole thing. And times have changed, and so we're faced in a challenging time, but I think an exciting time, to try to understand, what is God calling the church to do now? What is God calling his church to be now? And does the mission of God, which is bigger than the Anglican Church or any other church, still continue to unfold in the world? And I say, yes, it does. Nothing has changed. That God is still building the kingdom, and God still needs kingdom people.
What do kingdom people look like?
Kingdom people look like all of us. But I think it's that we are people who partner with God as he builds his kingdom in the world. His kingdom is not of power, is it? And it's not of structures. It's not of institutions. It's lives that are touched by his love. It's people who are fed, often physically, people who we reach out to. You know, it's Jesus eating with outcasts and sinners and whoever wanted to come along and hang out with him. It's Jesus just hanging out with people, getting to know them. It's building God's reign on the earth. But I think the challenge for us is to look at this time not with fear, but with trust. Trust in God, trust in God's plans and purposes for his church and his plans and purposes, and trust that there is still something for us, a role for us as Anglicans in the world now. But we also need to be courageous, not motivated by fear or despair or a sense of despondency, but to take the courage to look at who we are, to look at what is good about who we are, what is our unique and distinct offering to the world, but also to see how we have to renew that and express that in new and different ways. And it may be that the parish system that we've known and loved isn't going to be there in quite the same way. Maybe it means all of the buildings that we've known and loved won't be there in exactly the same way. But I believe Anglicanism has something very important to offer the church and the world. We are an embracing church. We have a message of inclusion. We bring people to Jesus. So let's be courageous. Courageous enough to sometimes let things go that are no longer working, but courageous enough to embrace things that are new and think about what are the new things God is calling us to do, and to try them out and just see what God does amongst us. You know, I think that when we think about letting go, maybe we have to let go of an expectation that people will automatically find their way through the door on a Sunday morning. That's our time, and that's our special time. On the other hand, the growth, I think, is creating new spaces for people to explore faith or lack of faith. And we see that in some of the fresh expressions, like a messy church or a cafe church, all of which can be just worked around your needs and your own community. But they provide spaces that are open for people to come in or not, to explore faith or not, to explore what it means to be part of the Christian community. Or when we think about Supper Club as well, which is on the last Monday of the month, that's a space that's allowed people to explore faith or lack of faith, to try to figure out how their life experience collides with faith. And we need to provide those spaces for people who just, for whom strong Sunday morning regular attendance hasn't necessarily worked out for them. But we can still provide places for them and spaces for them. And those are ways in which they can journey towards faith in Christ in their own way and their own speed. So let's look for those opportunities. How can you provide an open space for others to come and share that journey in their own way? So that's what we're going to be thinking about, I think, in the next little while here. in the Congregational Development part of our church, and I know our bishop is thinking about this, and it's a conversation we all are having. And let's have that conversation with trust and with courage, and let's look and see what God does amongst us.